Okay, welcome back to a little update video on our memes. We will look today, will AMC squeeze next week? Same for GameStop. Because of the nice movement now from BYND, we will also make a little update video on that. We will look if FFAI will not die now or not. We will also make a little update on DJT and Webull. And especially today, I will really clearly show for any stocks absolute every version, so everyone knows what could happen and what not. If you're interested, just stay tuned. As always, I'm using the Fractal Method. I will link the explanation video as always at the end of the video, or you just search for the playlist Fractal Method on my channel. Okay, well, then let's jump into AMC. So, before we start with the market tracking, so that everybody, also old and new people, are on the same page, we will do the full story of AMC today again. So, AMC is in a megaphone pattern, as you see here. We touched it, of course, at the IPO in 2020, in 2024, and now we broke under it again. We are still near the trend line, so it's still okay. Our absolutely end target for the next move should be so on the upper trend line, yeah? Which would mean something between $800 and $1,000. I know it sounds very stupid. Without the megaphone pattern, the fractal, the whole fractal is now at an ending point. Yeah, doesn't matter if the ending point is happening now next week, next month, or in May. We are fucking close, in my opinion. Also, I'm one of the persons who is tracking this as a two-part squeeze. Why? Just because I'm tracking 2020 and 2021. And back then, it was a two-part squeeze. I'm also happy if we're doing a one-part squeeze. I mean, why not? If it's just gapping up to all-time highs, why not? My only problem with this is the only two times where we made a one-part squeeze was May 2024 and 2025. And in my opinion, we don't want to see that. Yeah. I can't say a one-part squeeze to up here won't happen, but most likely for me, a one-part squeeze only means one thing. And that means we are rejecting this trend line. Yeah. That means we would come up here, don't break $10, and this will take a very, very long time for the next squeeze. In my opinion, we don't want that. So, if we're doing a two-part squeeze, how would that look like? Well, we would do the same like we did in 2020. We have the same trend line. We will break out and breakout retest. Same like here. We will break out and make a breakout retest. So how high could this A go? Well, we just look at the past. We take from our bottom to our peak, our fib, and then we look where we bounced. So we came up, fall back to the 618 fib, and there we bounced. If we repeat the same right now, we just take from our low, whenever it is in, and then we look how high do we have to go to not breaking under the trend line, and how high do we have to go to fall back to the 786 or the 0.5 and not breaking this trend line. And if you look at this, well, it would be something between 120 and 150. This would be our A. So after we did this A, we will make a very quick pullback. I would say this pullback will also only take maximum 1 week. How long would this section then take? Well, the thing is, back then in 2020, this section took us 125 days. Because the fractal is always repeating itself, but it's getting slower and bigger. Even if we do this a run in March, April, May, I don't think we will see the run to its C in 2026. I think this run, this thing here will take 200 to 300 days. So if we do that, I would imagine January 2027, May to May 2027 to get the last one. So I personally wouldn't hold contracts or shares, but it's your decision. Okay, well, then let's look what we have done last week. So sadly, we didn't really got what we wanted last week, because in my last video I said it would have been perfect if we would get our V and our higher low till Friday. We didn't. So the thing with this right now is one simple problem. First of all, I said double bottoms aren't bullish for a V for AMC. Yeah? Here we didn't got a double bottom. Here, 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 and here. Every time when AMC is going for a double button, triple button, quadruple button, whatever, and it should be a V, you already know it will make a new low. So on the 30-minute, if you only look at this now, this could be one single candle. If we zoom in here, you see again, it's a double bottom. So for me, most likely this wasn't our bottom, and next week we have to try it again. But this isn't the biggest problem, yeah? Because who cares? Yeah, I mean, we could easily do this in pre-market and then just run. The main problem is, doesn't matter if this is a double bottom or not, we didn't do the higher low. So for me personally, there is 0 chance we're getting the squeeze next week. 0. I know a lot of people are bullish for next week for OPEX or whatever. For me personally, 0 chance. So what was it? 3 different versions I have. First of all, we have to say, for me personally, this isn't the bottom, and we have to find a new low. Yeah. Even if not, the main focus we have to do for next week is we have to do the higher low. Yeah. Because it doesn't matter if this is the V or if we still have to do Monday, Tuesday, a fall to 110-ish. Yeah, because I still don't think we'll break $1. This doesn't matter. This is just 1 or 2 days, or even only 1 hour to find the new V. But the main point is that we are doing this higher low till Friday. Yeah? This higher low won't break this trend line. So maximum would be $130, pullback, and of course holding this higher low. This would be till next Friday. So for the different versions, we take for version 1, version 1 is the absolute slowest one. Means we are doing this higher low till Friday, first week of March. Then we will break out to our big A. This will be the move in the second week of March. How high could this go? In my opinion, this A will reject the 200 EMA and not breaking it. Second week of March. Third week of March, you will fall back to the 0.5 from your absolute low, wherever it is be. And in the 4th week of March, if you are doing the 0.5 till then, you have the chance to squeeze. That's version 1, the slowest one. And to say this could easily extend to 4, 5, 6, 8 weeks. Yeah, just saying. If this higher low takes you 2 weeks and this A and pullback takes you 2 weeks or 5 weeks, yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, but it's the slowest version because we are doing this higher low and this A, yeah, for version 1. Version 2, we're doing this higher low till next Friday, and in the next week we are just running. We are jumping this landmark. That's okay. It's a probability which is so small, but it's okay. That would be version 2. Version 3, we are not doing this higher low. We're just going up from here, or we're finding the new bottom and then going up from here. Yeah. Still, then you will go to your A, you will reject your 200 EMA and do the pullback. Yeah. In that case, the only difference between version 2 and 3 is you're not doing the higher low, you're just doing the A. My main point for this is, in my theory, and like 2021, 2024, 2025, there is no case where you squeeze from the V. Also in so many other stocks I showed, there was never a squeeze from the V. There was always a higher low after the V or an A and pullback after the V. So whatever we are doing, we need either the higher low and squeeze, or we only need the A and the pullback and the squeeze, or for the longest form, we need both. Let's see. Yeah. For if this was the bottom or not, I'm absolutely convinced we will get the answer Monday, Tuesday, because we are not doing this sideways shit, in my opinion. We will go up, maybe falling then, or we just fall on Monday and then go up. Yeah. So we will get our answer Monday, Tuesday. Okay. So much for AMC. Let's jump into GME. For GME, I have to say, I think it's quite easier right now. Yeah. So that everyone is on the same track. The full story. GME did its all-time low in 2020, then ran to its A pullback, and from 2024 till today, we are just doing this here. It's just the little higher low of the A, because the A pullback is already finished with April 2024. So what will happen next? Well, next is the move to our B. That's the squeeze for GME. How high could this go? Well, of course, a lot of people are saying $1,000, $5,000, $1 million, $1,000, whatever. For me personally, I can only take this trend line from IPO through 2021 till today. In that case, this trend line from IPO in 2008, we broke a little bit through it, but in 2021, it was our rejection line. So, in my opinion, this line will be our target again for our B. We maybe can go a little bit higher, like 2008, but my price target for the next squeeze is 350 to 500. Also to say this, it's always a breakout retest. And B, this landmark here, is always doing a 0.5 fib pullback. So if we don't want to break that, for that we go on the 24-hour chart, so we have every candle. If we don't break under this trend line again, how high can we go from our A bottom to our peak to do a 0.5, but not breaking this trend line? Well, and as you see, it will be around 360, 370. 0.5 pullback would be 60. Would be perfect. How would the squeeze look like? The thing is, for GME, I see also a two-part squeeze, but the other way around. It would be the same like 2021 and 2024. You will instantly run up, same like here, same like here. You will instantly knife down. And then in the next days, you're doing your second part squeeze, but the second part squeeze will be a lower high. Same like here, same like here. Yeah? After that, the pullback after the lower high, in my opinion, this will take years again. Same like 2024, 2025, 2026, same like 2021 to 2024. This really will take time. And for our C, if anybody is interested still, then this will go 900, maybe even breaking over the trend line and doing something stupid. But the B, in my opinion, will go maximum 400, maximum 500. Okay, so let's look at the macro tracking. How close are we? And I already said, GME is easier. For GME, I only have two versions. Maybe a third one, but the third one is really absolutely bearish and I'm not seeing it yet, so let's talk about the normal versions. This one would be not bearish version, but they're a little bit slower versions. In that case, November for both versions, version 1 and version 2, for both versions, November 2025 was our low. Yeah? For version 1, this here is just our little micro higher low, and the big higher low, the last one we need for the squeeze, we are doing right now. That also means that February the 3rd, 2026 was our peak of the higher low. And in February 2026, 26th of February last week, we just formed our M, our midpoint. That also means for next week, because I also see no chance for GME squeezing next week, doing something stupid could happen, that is version 2, but for version 1, we will fall. We have to at least drop under 2280. Yeah? We will come up again after that, but we won't break this trend line. This would be then our T. And then we will fall to 2120-ish. Why? Well, because that is our 786. This could take 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. The same like AMC, but we would need this low. After that, we would break up. Same as AMC with its A. The A for GME has to be over $28. I would say something between 28 and 35. And then also taking from the V in November to the peak, and it will fall to the 0.5 or 618. And at the same time, when GME is at this pullback, then AMC, because they're running in sync, should also be at that pullback at that point, and both can run. For timing, I would say this whole thing in 1 week is quite impossible. Even with strong volume, quite impossible. This in 2 or 3 weeks is already very close, but doable. Otherwise, we just have to wait for the landmarks. So this was version 2. One. Version 2 is this here. Nothing is really changing except of that we don't need the pullback anymore. For version 2, November is still our V. But this little higher low is our last higher low we need. What we did last week's was just our A. Also in this case, if we take the FIB, this was a perfect A pullback, 0.5 bounce. And from Monday on, we go up. Yeah, to make that absolutely clear. This version is only working if we're not breaking under $22.77. Yeah, if you're breaking down here, this version is dead and we're doing version 1. For version 2, we really should go up. Near our T line, so near 28.30 would be our B. We will make a 0.5 pullback and then we run to our T, which is our small c. Also here, this A is the same like version 1. Same like AMC also. After that, you will do the 0.5 pullback and then both starts running. Also for this, how long could this take? It depends how quick we are in doing the landmarks. This version, I would say, is easily doable in 2 weeks. Still don't think it's possible in 1 week, but this looks better for 2 weeks or end of March. Let's see. Let's see what we are doing. Yeah. We maybe jump B and just go to A, but also for here, for this version, what's important for if we're doing this, GME does the 0.5 pullback. And then we go. We are not jumping this pullback, in my opinion. So, let's see. So, next one is FFAI. I'm only doing this little update because FFAI is now really standing in a point where it is doing or starting something absolutely beautiful, or it will die, in my opinion. For the whole tracking, IPO started in the run to its all-time high, to its C. Then we did our lower high, our midpoint, our T. And in the last weeks, we made our all-time low. So before we go into the micro tracking, if we take the rules from the fractal one by one, our next A is at 153, our next B at 5,000. As I'm always saying, you won't see a share at $5,000 for FFAI. If we come up here, there will be a forward split. Yeah? If FFAI isn't doing a forward split, this trend line here, this T line at 153 is your maximum and you will reject here and die. For the normal price targets, our next A is at $4, our next B something over 35, and as I said, 153 is our deadline without a forward split. Also saying, I am not expecting that we are doing an A pullback, B pullback, C, just because FFAI is never doing that. Yeah, FFAI is always finding a bottom. Let's zoom in 1 second. Doing a higher low and then runs instantly to a C. Same here. V higher low instantly. Same as here. V higher low instantly. So I expect we're doing the same here also. And especially to say this, this is not any strange normal point. Yeah, we are not here, we are not here, we are not here. If this is bullish and not dying, this fractal is finished. Yeah, and the new one will start. That means whatever happened here, whenever this is finished, the next move could be really, really vertical and stupid. Whatever the news is. Okay, well, then let's look at micro tracking. Also, to be transparent, for the older versions, the earlier versions of tracking, because I always say backtrack me. Yeah, I always watch my latest videos, because I always will stand to mistakes or if tracking wasn't working. For this, the older tracking was that this was our V, our bottom, and this whole thing should have been our higher low. I mean, it looked really, really perfect. Till the moment we knifed here. Yeah, because in my theory, there is no day manipulation and all this bullshit. No, this was just not higher low. And if you break a higher low, it's also not volatility and you still make it a higher low. No, if you break the higher low, it's not higher low. So what was it? Well, it was just our little t for our big T. Okay, so was this our bottom? The thing is, if this wasn't our bottom, and if we break down here again, and what I mean, if we touch 43 cents again or break it again, I really have to say there are only a few ways. This thing is delisting, going OTC, or they are doing a massive reverse split. All those 3 points are shit for traders. Just saying. So we have to hold this. If this was our V, well, then we are doing right now our micro higher low. Yeah? And this micro higher low could be, if we look at the 1 hour, could be already finished. Yeah? Because if you look here from this bottom to this is already our first little higher low. And this here is already our second little higher low. Yeah? So this is bullish. This could be already 2 confirmation that this bottom is in. Means, are we ready to squeeze now? And I really have to say no. Sorry, not yet. The next moves would be, you see this trend line here. Yeah. We will do now the macro higher low for this whole chart. For this whole chart, we will do the macro higher low now. That means version 1, yeah, if FFAI has to a high low like in the past. Version 1, we're doing something like this. And then we squeeze. Yeah. Second one, we're doing this. And we not immediately, I mean, that is something you should see. Yeah. We're doing this and not instantly gapping up and running, but we're doing an A and a 0.5 pullback and then we run. I think that will be the most likely version of this whole chart. Yeah? And at this point here, we will just jump to whatever. Version 3 is like AMC and GME. We are not doing the higher low. We're just going up now and doing our A, which should be over $4. Doing the 0.5, 0.618 pullback. 0.618, yeah. And then we squeeze. It will be one of these 3 versions if we not die. Yeah? For levels, which we can identify what it is. If we're just doing version 1 with the higher low, we will reject $1.95, 95 cents or $1.10-ish, not going over this trend line. If we're doing version 2 with higher low A and pullback, we will reject $4-ish and pullback. If we're not doing the higher low here and just breaking through here, careful, I tell you, not financial advice, in my opinion, we will reject around $4 or $5 because we're then just doing a pullback squeeze. But all in all, I really think this will take time. Yeah. Still this year, in my opinion, of financial advice, but summer-ish. But as long as we're not touching 43 cents, still okay. Okay, next one is BYND. So Also for BYND, full tracking, so everyone is on the same stage. BYND started its IPO in the run to its C. Sadly, we never saw how A and B looked like. We will come to that later. When AMC and GME close in 2021, BYND already did its lower high, then midpoint T. And in October, most likely, we did our all-time low. So for our next targets, our next target is A. And A should be over $15 to $25-ish. Then 0.5 pullback, 0.618 pullback. B should be over 33 and C breaking all-time highs or not. Also like FFAI, the thing is, we never saw A and B, as I said. So rules 1 by 1, we're doing the 0.5 to 0.618 pullback for A and B, or we're just doing something stupid. Yeah, couldn't rule that out. So for the micro tracking here, since October till last week, this whole thing is just our higher low. And if tracking is bullish and true, we will do now the run to our A. And we already started with a pretty good breakout last Friday. Yeah. In the last videos, I already said we only had 2 versions left. One was we are rejecting this trend line, fall down, still making this part, this little gap fill here, and then run. Or if we break over this trend line, we will start our run. So on Friday, we had a nice 30% move because BYND is now introducing energy drinks. Of course. Yeah. What will happen now? So I will give you now, I think it was 3. Yeah, 3 versions. Yeah, what will happen? First of all, for version 1. Yeah, this was our V on February 5th. This was our higher low, for the little higher low for the big higher low. Also finished, we broke out. So for the absolute bullish version, this was our little a. We will, I mean, for all versions, I think it is that we will do now our breakout retest or our 0.5, 0.618 pullback. I mean, yeah, it will be a breakout retest. So in that case, we will come back to 70 cents, yeah, 77 cents. I really don't want to see breaking this trend line again. Yeah, I mean, a little bit wick under it. Yeah, depends always how you really draw it. But we should stay over this trend line. For version 1, after we did that, we just go, yeah, up to 15.25. Not gapping, but a straight line up to it. For this version, I look at October, yeah, because in October we also did our V, we did our little micro higher low, and in that case, I think we have 2 ways. Yeah, we are in this candle right now, and this will be earnings with the pullback, or we already did this candle here on last Friday, and we are right now in this pullback, and after that, we just go. Yeah, this would be the next move, just up. Yeah, that would be the version all of us would like the most. Yeah, just do this pullback and run. Yeah, this is version 1. Version 2. This here would be version 2. That means we're still doing the pullback, and then we're doing our little b. Little b should go over 133, doing the 0.5 pullback, and then we're going to our C. This C is also our middle A. Yeah? And this middle A should be over 160 to $2. Yeah? And after that, we're doing the big 0.5. That means from our V to whatever our peak on C and A is. And then, okay, this would be too low. So here. And then we're doing the 0.5. And in that moment, we did this year, we start the real one to our $15.25 mark. This will take a little bit more time, depends again on the volume, how quick we do the landmarks, but you will clearly see the up, down, whatever news it would be. Yeah? This would be version 2. Version 3 would be this. And to say this, I don't think that this will be slower than version 2, but in my opinion, it will be more stressful for people than version 2 and version 1. Why? In that case, we did our higher low, but it would be only the little higher low. In that case, we would still need the big higher low. What does that mean? The point with version 3 would be that the higher low, the peak of the bigger higher low, won't break over 160. We will check under it. The problem is the fall after that, because a higher low is always going under the V&A, and most of the time this is the 786. So in that case, you will go up to under 160 and then fall to 76 cents ish again, and that will stress people. Yeah? But also for this, you will do this high low, pull back, and then you will start the real run. This could easily take the same length time like version 2, but as I said, it will be more stressful because you see a nice run up and then suddenly you fall back. Yeah. But all in all, I have to say, I think the absolutely bearish alternative where BYND is never doing anything again is off the table. This thing, in my opinion, for especially this fractal looks really finished now. It should be upside from here. If we're doing a quick, nice upside or a pumpy road to the upside, well, we have to see. But at least no financial advice. At least $25 to $45 this year, maybe even summer this year, is for me personally, it's very easy to over. Let's see what happens next week, especially with earnings. Okay, next one is DJT. Also, DJT gave us, I think, already confirmation that this fractal is finished. But let's start from the beginning again. Like FFAI and like Bull, I will show after that, both of them did the same stupid thing. It made its V instantly run up to its all-time high to its C. For DJT, it did after that a massive lower high, a massive midpoint, a massive T. So, in my opinion, there's a very, very, very high chance that we already got our V. I will come to that in a second. What will happen now? There are two things. First of all, whatever comes next, you see that in the chart. The uptrends are always instant. Yeah? Only the pullbacks are absolutely slow. And to say that, this fractal has no landmarks left. If this is the bottom, I mean, maybe we need a new one, but still close. If this is the bottom, this whole fractal is finished. We are not here, here, or here. We are right now here, yeah, or something close to there. Yeah, so there are two ways. Yeah, if we're doing fractal tracking as absolutely rule by one, we will do a high low, A pullback, B pullback, C. Yeah, in that case, A would be around 60, B around 80, and C all-time highs or not. But if you're doing the same shit like DJT is doing since IPO, and especially the same shit it did at IPO, after the higher low, it should be just very vertical. Yeah. So, are we ready to squeeze? Before we look in this micro tracking here, there are two things. First of all, we need a higher low for our T. Yeah. That means this most likely will look something like this. Yeah. This higher low won't break over $15-ish. Higher low down. And then only the higher low from this fit for this thing is finished. After that, we only have two versions left. Version 1, without any special rules, we have this trend line here. In that case, whenever this little higher low is finished, you will do your macro higher low. This macro higher low isn't allowed to break this trend line. And in the moment you finish that, you really could get a really stupid move. To say that this higher low could also look like something like this. Just saying. As DJT is always doing. With my special rule, which I invented because it happened so many times. The problem for DJT is, if you look at this T here, it's too short to reach this trend line. If you see something like that, it's not 100% proven yet. I'm still working on it. But most of the time, that means you can throw a trend line between M and T. And in that case, the macro higher low isn't allowed to break over this trend line. This one, between M and T. In that case, in my opinion, it will be quicker because the macro higher low doesn't have to be big. But in this case, the macro higher low isn't allowed to break over 20.64 cents. Also this here could also be easily just up, slow pullback. Yeah? But that was version 1 or version 2. Here comes the big but. I also see a case where we just do this little higher low, so nothing over 17. In the moment we finish this, we just get the big move. Yeah. Just because you're always doing that. In that case, no financial advice. If you're interested in this, I will track it further. And if I see something, I will, of course, will show it. But I will play it like this. I wait for this little higher low. And then I will play for $21. If it just breaks through here and broke through it, perfect. Yeah, nice, big money. If you're rejecting here, well, we know we have to wait for this. If you're rejecting here, well, we know we have to wait for this. But you can play this perfectly. So now for the for the last thing, could this be the bottom? Well, let's zoom in. So here, zoomed in on the 1 hour chart, and I think we already have confirmation. Yeah? We got our low in February 17, and we did already our micro high. If you look from the bottom to the peak, it fell under the 786 fib. We bounced. We even did, in my opinion, a little micro high. And then, as DJT is always doing, instant upside. So in my opinion, this could be to, let's say, 90% confirmation. The bottom is in. Yeah. It looks fucking great. Let's see what we're doing, especially that now Trump is just ruling the world. Yeah. Ending the war of Venezuela in one night. How it seems like now ending the war in Iran just in one weekend. Yeah, so this man is just fighting the world and is winning all over again. So yeah, never not believe in Trump. Not saying political, just in his actions. Okay, last one is bull. So for bull, it's the same like FFAI and DJT. Yeah, IPO, instant run to its C. So I mean, normally I say I don't track stocks which are younger than 3 years because price action is normally bullshit. But bull just looks good. Yeah. So I break this rule a tiny bit, but normally I wouldn't track it. But for bull, IPOV, instant candle up to its C. Then nice lower high, midpoint, T, hopefully all-time low. For our next targets, our A should be over 10 to 15 in my opinion. B should be over 18 to 25. For rules 1 by 1, up 0.5, 0.618 pullback, B 0.5 pullback, breaking all-time highs or not. If we are not doing something stupid like IPO, where we just go, could also be like IPO. I already said in the last videos that I expect this A for end of March. Problem with this is, this was before we broke to new all-time low here. If this low is now holding, this isn't end of March anymore. This is end of April, in my opinion. No financial advice. So let's look at this micro tracking now. Also here, one important thing before we start with the micro tracking. I always said in AMC, double buttons are not bullish and are a sign that the bottom is not in yet. I mean, I only made this rule for AMC, but I mean, if you look at this here, this was a double button. So maybe it's also working for bull, because this was, in our old tracking, this was our high low. Well, with this drop, it was clearly not our high low. Yeah? So double button is not bullish. Yeah? Okay, so how was this bottom now? Well, this is one single candle. Even on the 30-minute, one single candle bounce off it. Perfect. Yeah. So, can we go up from now? Well, the thing is, if this was our absolutely low, what is this then? The same what we have to do for AMC. Higher low. Is this higher low finished? Not yet. In my opinion, this higher low will finish next week, Friday. So, what date is that? Friday, 6th of March. This would be our C, this would be our lower high, and this would be our M. Or maybe we will still go up a little, and this will be our M then. Then we have to drop lower where we are, come up again, do our T. I mean, that's a 30-minute chart, just to say that. And then we have to fall under the 786. And I think we will do this till next Friday. And then off we go. Yeah. If we then instant go to our A, or if we have to do breakout, retest, B, pullback, C, we will see. But the thing that I think this will be end of April, we will see A, B, C. But it should be a steady uptrend. It looks absolutely nice. The only version where we could see this quicker would be that we're really doing something stupid. Not saying impossible, but I wouldn't play for it. Play for the safer route. Okay. I think that was everything for today. Yeah. Okay. As always, if you liked it, you can leave a like. The explanation video for the method I will put here. Playlist here. And if you want to see more, you can leave another. Let's see what will happen next week. Nice weekend. See ya.